What is up, everybody? Welcome in. Welcome in to Talkin BS. I am your host, your boy, Steven Zamora. If you can, please follow me on Twitter at ZamoraBSB for more content. And today, I'm bringing you a new episode previewing the offseason of the Utah Jazz. And we're going to go over a few things on how to improve this team and build around Lauri Markkanen so that this team has a bright future and can make it into the playoffs in the near future. First thing we got to address is we're going to look at the weaknesses that the Jazz need to improve on. Then we're going to start talking about the tools that the Jazz have at their disposal in this offseason to get better. Then we're going to make a checklist of things that the Jazz front office must do heading forward into the future. Then we're going to look at the three different avenues that every team has at their disposal to get better. We're going to look at the draft and some prospects that hopefully you guys will be excited about. We're going to look at trade options. I'm going to throw a trade at you guys. Hopefully you guys like that one. Then we're going to look at free agency. Hopefully bring a piece or two in that can really solidify the rotation. Then at the end, we're going to put that rotation together in a nice graphic and see what we built through the offseason. And hopefully it's a lineup that you guys could get really excited about heading into the next one. But before we could get any further, we got to start at the beginning. We got to check on last season and we got to see what the Jazz were bad at so that we know where we need to improve this team going forward. They were 30th in fast break points allowed, 28th in points allowed per game, 30th in assists allowed per game, 26th in assist to turnover ratio, 28th in opponent effective field goal percentage, 30th in opponent three-point percentage, 25th in opponent shooting efficiency, and 30th in turnovers per play and in game, right? So 30th in both of those. Teams were very successful shooting the ball against the Jazz this year for whatever reason, and the Jazz weren't always great at taking care of the ball. So let's look at some must-dos that the front office must do to improve this team. They have the 10th overall pick and the 29th overall pick in the first round. They have the 32nd overall pick in the second round. They have the John Collins, Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson contracts that all could be traded. They could have up to $44 million in cap space. That's big. And they could have up to 15 first-round picks and up to 6 second-round picks until the year 2030. So a ton of cap space because there's not a ton of money invested into this team right now. And you have a ton of draft picks from the Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert trades from a couple years ago. So now looking forward, we need to come up with a list of things that the front office has to address in this offseason. You need to decide if you're rebuilding or retooling around Lauri. Speaking of Lauri, we need to get that guy a big contract because he's on the last year of his deal. You need to decide who your core is. You definitely need to get you a real point guard in this. And you need to look for some wing depth. With those holes in the roster currently constructed, we're going to look towards the draft. So the first graphic I'm going to bring up for you guys, on the left is a big board provided by CBS. On the right is a big board provided by Tankathon. And in the middle is a big board provided by The Ringer. So if you look at the big board and the comps, you're going to see guys like Markelle Fultz, Lou Williams, Lamar Odom, Harrison Barnes, a lot of role players, okay? At the end of the day, this draft isn't super top-heavy, but what it is it's deep. So I've said this on some of my videos before. If you want to see some of the other previews I have, I got them all on my channel here. But on some of the other videos I've said before, this is a draft where between I want to say 10 to 35 is kind of a pick your poison, right? It's a kind of a pick your style. You want a wing who can shoot, there's guys for that. You want a big man who can defend the paint, there's guys for that. You want a point guard, there's guys for that. Devin Carter, okay? He is 6'3", 195 pounds, averaged almost 20 a game. What's crazy is he averaged almost 9 rebounds a game at 6'3". 47% from the field, 37% from three, 75% from the free throw line. This kid has heart. He hustles. He's a very good athlete. He flies all over the court. He's a very good defender, right? So he plays both sides of the ball. Good in transition. He uses his speed and athleticism to get out on the break on a consistent basis. Good off-ball mover. And he had a very good shooting gear. Now, the shooting is a little bit iffy because in his previous 2 years, I believe he shot, less than 30%. This year, he shot around 37%. So Obviously, it's improving, but some folks are a little scared off. They're not sure if that's actually going to stay um, above 35%. His shot is a little funky. He has a little hitch in it, kind of double. He has no fluidity within his shot, is basically how the best way to say it. He's not great at handling pressure. So, like, if they're pressing or he's double teamed, he's a little turnover prone. There are questions about him being a capable point guard, which is a tough one, right? Because he's 6'3". So there are questions about that, but he does have the size. He has the athleticism to be a guard in the league. And like I said, he's a very good shooter, and he's a great rebounder. So I think he will be a very good contributor to this team. My comps for him are Bruce Brown and Josh Hart. I think those are two very good comparisons for him. Then with that 29th overall pick in the first round, I'm going with Tyler Smith. Okay. He played for the G League last year, the G League Ignite. He's a 6'11", 225-pound forward. He can shoot the three. He's athletic. He can yam it on people. He's a very good offensive player. A lot of versatility. He's long, quick, agile, big wingspan. He's a good finisher. And at the end of the day, he's young and he has a ton of upside. He has everything you need to be a star player in the NBA. The only negatives are right now he is raw, right? He is a very raw prospect. He doesn't have a lot of, he's not very refined. He doesn't have all the intangibles and stuff like that. He's not a physical player. He's not going to get in there and get you like rebounds as big as he is. He's not going to be physical about stuff. He's not like setting screens and stuff like that. He's a little bit stiff in the hips. He's not a great perimeter defender, which is hard to find late in the first round from a big guy. And his decision making and sometimes can be, questionable, especially on the defensive end where he makes some questionable mistakes. A comparison I've seen a lot is Charlie Villanueva. My comparison to him is Jeff Green. I think he could be like an even bigger Jeff Green, which is, I think, a very, very good player. And like I said, could be even better than that. Now, I bet you're probably wondering, why would we add another forward like that? We just got Taylor Hendricks in the draft last year. I worked on a trade for you guys, and unfortunately, we're going to have to trade Taylor Hendricks. You guys need a point guard that can defend and can orchestrate the offense at an efficient rate. So my thought is you send Jordan Clarkson and Taylor Hendricks. You get Jordan Clarkson's money off the books. You send them to Oklahoma City in exchange for Josh Giddey and Kenrich Williams. So the thought process behind this, of course, let's look at Oklahoma City first, right? You get Jordan Clarkson, who can come in and be an instant boost off the bench scoring-wise, which is very big for them because if you do trade Josh Giddey, right, he was a bit of a disappointment in the playoffs. You trade Josh Giddey, then you can have a backcourt of Shea, Cason Wallace, Lou Dort, and Jordan Clarkson, and Isaiah Joe, which is a very dynamic four-man rotation for your guards. Then you pick up Taylor Hendricks, who's another big, like I said, that they're going to need that size in that front court. Josh Giddey had a bit of a disappointing playoff, so he might need a change of scenery. Now for the Utah side, why this is actually a great deal for you guys is you need a point guard, like I said, who can orchestrate the offense and get you guys easy shots and get you in position that makes everybody else's job easier. You guys have a ton of gunners on your team, but you don't have any pass first guys. You don't have a guy who can set everything up. Even Laurie needs a guy who could really set him up. I think if you bring a guy like Josh Giddey in who can defend for you, get him the rock in his spots, orchestrate everything and get the whole offense set up in the correct way, Laurie could end up being one of the leading scorers in the NBA, in my opinion. He just has that type of talent, and all he needs is somebody who could get him some easy looks. Then you add Kenrich Williams as well. Kenrich Williams is Kenny Hustle, man. Like, you guys are going to love this dude. If you end up getting him, you will absolutely love him. He is his name is Kenny Hustle for a reason. He goes and hustles. He has a ton of heart. He defends your best perimeter, the other team's best perimeter guy, and does it all with a smile on his face, man. He's a very good player. So I think that's a win-win. I think this benefits both teams in a big, big way. So now that we got the draft done and we made our trade for the offseason, let's look ahead to some free agent targets. So let's start with the guards. Markelle Fultz, Bruce Brown, Chris Dunn, DeAnthony Melton, D'Angelo Russell, Tyus Jones, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Killian Hayes. So basically, what I'm targeting here is a point guard or a guard who can handle the ball, get the offense in order. Chris Dunn, right? You had him on your team last year. He was very good for you guys. He's a very good defender. D'Angelo Russell can bring you some offense. Same with Dinwiddie. Markelle Fultz is more of a defender guy, but he can set up the offense, kind of bring you the same thing that Josh Giddey does. Same with Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown is like a championship piece, right? He's one of those guys that just does a little bit of everything, and he could really set you guys up for success. Killian Hayes is more of a flyer. That's just somebody who's like big, who plays defense and sets everything up too, but he's more of a flyer. He's more of a project guy. Next, we'll look at some wings. You got Isaac Okoro, Patrick Williams, Caleb Martin, Derrick Jones Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taurean Prince, and Jamal Cain. So the first two, Isaac Okoro and Pat Williams. I think those are two guys that you guys should definitely be targeting as defenders who, theoretically can shoot. Very high draft picks. Like I said, you guys have time to work on projects like this, and you have the cap space. You can go out there and make life hell on the Cavs and the Bulls by going out and offering an offer sheet to both of these guys. At the end of the day, it doesn't hurt to at least offer them that. Then you want to talk about a guy like Caleb Martin, Derrick Jones Jr., right? A couple wings out there who offer some athleticism and, are pretty good on the perimeter. You got Kyle Anderson, who's a little bit bigger of a forward. Taurean Prince, very good defender. And Jamal Cain. He's another athlete that I think can bring you a lot of bounce and a lot of athleticism to that wing. Plus, he's young. At the end of the day, here's the rotation that we came up with in this offseason preview. At the point guard, we got Josh Giddey, backed up by Devin Carter. At the 2, you got Keontae George, backed up by Bryce Sensabaugh. And you still got Colin Sexton on the roster. You can use him as a trade chip later. I'm just saying, you can put him in as the backup, as either Keontae's backup or Giddey's backup. You can even start Colin Sexton if you really want to over Giddey. I think it's important to let Keontae start and, get them reps up because I think that kid could be a star. Then at the 3, you got Laurie, backed up by Kenrich Williams. At the 4, you got John Collins, backed up by Patrick Williams. And at the 5, you got Walker Kessler, backed up by Omer Yurtseven. What this does is this provides a bunch of spacing. You got a ton of length out there, right? Collins 6'10", Laurie 7 foot, Kessler is huge. You're going to need that for your smaller guards like Keontae and Carter and stuff, right? You got rebounding, you got length, you got athleticism. I think you got a little bit of everything here. You stole Patrick Williams from the Bulls. I think that's a big one you guys can get. I think he'd be great for you guys. He's a very good defender. He provides something that a lot of these guys on your roster currently don't have, which is like guarding like bigger 4s and like 3s and stuff like that. So I think that'll help a lot. You got Kenrich Williams in there who can defend your more like 2-3 guys. Giddey can guard your like 1s and 2s, and Carter as well. I think he can guard some of your quicker, smaller players. I think you got like a good defender at every type of, any opposition you bring in here. I think you guys got a defender for it. And, you got enough spacing, you got enough shooting, you got some playmaking now. I think this solves a lot of your guys' problems. So if you think that I did a pretty good job on this one, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing one of these for the entire league going forward. I'm already, about a third of the way through. So if you can, like I said, please like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys so much. Good luck to you, Utah. I hope you guys are healthy and do great things next year. I'm going to be looking forward to it. Talking BS, we out.